and pick up the live stream as soon as it ticks, and then share it into a couple of groups, and then come right back. I hope. I'm usually really clunky with that. You know that?
Yeah. Well, I think we're live right now.
We are live. We're officially live. And this is kind of like the radio DJs when they're talking and feel like they're talking off the air, but they're on the air. Um, Damaging admission. I did this at the last amp. I can't believe I did it. I give people this advice when they're talking about public speaking, because I speak from stage, fairly regularly. And I was like, hey, pro tip: never take a hot mic in the bathroom. And I had a lav on, for the first
Yeah.
time. Usually it's handheld, and I didn't just, you just reach down and click it off, and I didn't do that, and took it in the bathroom. And thankfully, everybody was on break. I came back. Some of the guys were like, "Hey, you're on in there, right?" And I was like, "Oh shit." Yep. Well, we talk about transparency, so that's pretty good.
So it was a truly hot mic. It wasn't just like recording to some future video.
No, it was playing over the speakers in the room. It was great.
So yeah, tell me where I can share this. I'm looking for the huge, but
Um, I will tell you what.
where are we
Go,
live?
go to huge convention or Facebook, the huge convention,
Yeah.
and they refresh the page, and you should see the live stream happening right there. Just scroll
Man,
down a
so I
tiny
feel
bit.
bad. Someone's watching this right now. You
I'm g-
guys, I apologize.
that's all right. Yeah, just go to the huge and then pick it up
Yeah,
and
here we
then
go.
share. Yeah,
All right, let's go, man.
cool. Well, let's do it. So you're clicking away and doing that. Now, the official
Yeah.
introduction. So I'm Sid with the Huge Convention, and we've got an interview series going on, so everybody gets to know all the speakers that are going to speak at the Huge, and some of our vendors and key partners. So Ryan Lee is with us today, and Ryan um, has doggone. I got to turn my page. You built a multi-million-dollar landscape lighting company in Fort Worth, Texas, a Majestic Lighting Company, and then you sold it, and then you started teaching people how to start and build a landscape lighting company. And there are two things about it. One, it's landscape lighting secrets, as we can see from the signage behind you. But there's a cool phrase in there, and I love this. I want this to be our jumping off point: is that you teach others to grow from being an operator to an owner, to grow from operator to owner. And I think that's the critical point for most small businesses, because a lot of people dive into small business just like the E-Myth, and they want to be in business, and they know how to do the thing. They're a great technician, but they don't necessarily know how to run a business. So let's do this. So as we're introducing you, what else do people need to know about you? And then talk to us about how you teach people to grow from operator to owner, and what's the
Yeah.
difference?
No, I love this. I love this topic because it's why I'm doing the coaching right now. Is because so growing up, I didn't know what an entrepreneur was. Raised by a single mother, and she did a great job raising us kids, and just getting by and stuff like that financially. And so I knew like I wanted to be able to like afford a boat. I wanted to be able to like do the finer things in life because we didn't have that. And I was getting married. I decided I was going to start a window cleaning company, and to be honest, I know that there's a lot of window cleaners at the huge convention. I
Yeah.
thought I invented the window cleaning industry. And this was in like 19, no, this was 2001. I thought I
Okay.
invented the window cleaning industry, but I didn't. I found out, I went and looked in the yellow pages and I looked up this cleaning store and I go in, I'm like, you guys have those like squeegees that they have at the gas station where it's got like the scrubber and then the squeegee on the back. And they're like,
Yeah.
why? And I'm like, well, because I'm going to start a window cleaning business. And they're like, you don't, that's not what you want. You want this. And they take me to the whole aisle of the
Yeah.
industry that's already been invented. I'm like, oh my gosh, they have holsters and scrapers and all this stuff. So I'm not as dumb as I sound right now. So I started the window cleaning company that summer, and we knocked doors, my wife and I, and we cleaned the windows and had no idea what we were doing. I didn't have any training on business or anything like that. And we made like $10,000, enough to get married. And that was like amazing experience. Like not only did I make money, but I had an awesome time with clients. And like that was when I was exposed to like, hey, I could actually go generate money for myself without having to rely on someone to pay me, right?
Yeah.
But I was also the first person in my family to go to college, and that was important for me. I don't know why. I just wanted to be the first person to get a college degree. So I
Yeah.
decided to go to college. And then, with those types of contacts, it's like, oh, you're gonna go get like a big signing bonus and like a car and like a cell phone and like those types of things, right? So I decided to try the corporate path and abandon my window cleaning days. Well, uh, I got sick of that. I was like, man, I kept daydreaming of these window cleaning days, right? And so I got this sales job though that I was it was like my first year out of college, and I made $100,000 my first year selling software, and I was like, cha-ching, baby! Like,
Yeah.
I mean, no kids, like that's a lot of money for just a newlywed, couple.
Yeah.
But I still was not happy. I just literally was daydreaming in windows. So I called my brother who had moved to Texas in this meantime, and I won't get into that whole story, but I had convinced him to clean windows down there. So he has this window cleaning business, and I said, "Hey, what if I move down there and I helped you blow up the window cleaning business? You don't know what you're doing. I'm a highly educated institutional marketing major and now an MBA. I got my MBA." And
Nice.
so we decided we're going to partner up and blow up this window cleaning thing. Well, he actually calls me and goes, "Hey, I got into Christmas lights and then I got into landscape lighting." And I'm like, "What is landscape lighting?" He said, "Well, you light the houses." And I did these two jobs. They were $4,000 each. And I stopped him. I said, "Someone paid you $4,000 to put lights on their house." And he's like, "Yeah." And like, apparently that's like a small job. I said, "Dude, I'm going to stop you right there. If I would much rather sell a $4,000 lighting job than a $250 window cleaning job any day of the week. We are getting into the lighting business." And so
Right.
that's how I was introduced to the lighting industry. And I moved down to Texas, partnered with my brother, fell on my face multiple times and thought I was a hot shot and everything. And really, it was going through that experience of being the operator of the business and doing the design, the install, the maintenance, answering the phones, purchasing materials, and hiring people and firing people and having people walk off the job and getting yelled at by clients and all that stuff, which led me to really, actually, you mentioned E-Myth. I had that realization that, like, wait, an entrepreneur doesn't have to do all this. Like, I was literally so dumb and ignorant. I thought an entrepreneur meant that you had to be good at all those things. Like,
Oh,
that
that you
was
had to
it.
do everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is the life, man. I love being an entrepreneur. I never get to take time off. I fight with my wife. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I read that book and I was like, okay, yeah, this is the answer. Cause I was getting so frustrated. I was like, you know what? I could just quit this, go get my job back, make a ton of money, and be done by 5 every day. That seems like the dream life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. When you talk about the E-Myth and your impression that the entrepreneur has to do everything. I was in an event, I think 4 years ago. And so I've been in business for a long time. We celebrate our 20th year in with our window cleaning company this year.
Nice.
Um,
Congrats.
4 years ago, thank you. I was at an event in Chicago, paid like $2,500 to go to a 2-day event. And honestly, I couldn't tell you what they taught at the event. Everything, but all my money was made back with a side conversation with a guy by the coffee machine or, getting coffee in the morning. And I was telling him about this, an idea about a business I wanted to start. I said, but I don't know how to do X and I don't know how to do this. I'm not really sure how to. And he goes, why do you have to do any of that shit? Can't you just be the architect? And I went, "What? What?" He's like, "Just treat it like it's computer code. Just write the code for how the business runs, and hire somebody to run it, and hire people that know how to do the shit you need to do." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And that sounds so simple, and it is. But I was like, How is it that I'm 20 years in? I'd never occurred to me to just
Absolutely.
never touch the squeegee, right?
Yeah, because you weren't formed out of that. You didn't have a rich uncle that said, "Hey, here's a couple $1,000,000. What do you want to start?" Like you had to start from the ground up, like most of us did,
Yeah.
and that's just the way our minds are wired. So even when I started my coaching business, I've got those same temptations to like, well, let me do this, and I can build a website, so why don't I just build a website? But you're absolutely right. I just hired an integrator. If you
Mhm.
if you're familiar with the book Traction,
Yeah.
um, to run my business. Like I'm not very good at running businesses, you guys. Like I am not a good manager. I truly am a visionary, and it's so empowering to understand that because now I'm not trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and being
Yeah.
frustrated with why I'm not very good at things in my life because I really am good at this one thing and I'm really terrible at these other things. So I love it. Just be the architect, write the code, and let other people do it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. This wasn't one of my prepared questions, but with coaching now and landscape lighting secrets and teaching, so you 16 years, you and your brother grew a multi-million dollar landscape lighting company. 16 years, and it sounds like it was trial and error. You learned from people. You didn't come pre-installed with how to run a business, so you had to learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and now you teach it to others. You've condensed your knowledge and your expertise, and you've been doing this for a couple of years, few years. What have you seen any of your students like take that shortened learning curve and do what took you 16 years to do? Maybe they've done it in 4 years or 2 years, or like tell me like how valuable, not in dollars, but how valuable is the shortened learning curve? What have you
Yeah,
seen?
no, 100%. So I had my business 12 years, and then the last 4 years I've been doing coaching.
Okay.
Um, Technically 3 years coaching because I had like a year of schizophrenia in there while I didn't know what I want to do with my life. But the last 3 years have been all in coaching. Uh, so yes, I've had clients, and this is so cool. I love what I do because someone said to me years ago, like the final phase of learning is teaching, and I like didn't really listen to that or whatever.
Uh,
But I've been teaching people now, like all the things not to do and pitfalls to avoid, and here's some good strategies that work for 3 years. And I almost feel a little selfish because I do charge them, like they do pay me, but
yeah.
I have learned so much in these past few years myself. It's been insane. And so it's cool because in order for me to help people, it's really easy. All I do is I envision myself. What were you doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago? Right. And
Mhm.
what were your problems? And so they're like, dude, it's like, you know me, man. Like you know my challenges and you know what I'm going there. I'm like, no, I literally do. Like, this is not hypothetical. I'm not like, well, have you thought of this? Or, could you try this? Like if I was helping painters or something like that, there would probably be a lot of hypotheticals. But this is literally like what to do. So we have people getting results extremely fast. I've
Mhm.
had a ton of case studies. I've had people that have been in the industry like a long time, 15 years, being stuck at whatever phase they were at, join Landscape Lighting Secrets and accelerate to double their sales that very next year.
Oh, no
And
way.
then
That's
the
cool.
next year, double again. And they've been in the industry a long time. So what was holding them back, right?
Yeah.
And then I've also got new people that are coming in with no experience, also having tremendous success out of the gate. And it's because again, I'm kind of coaching my former self.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what would Ryan Lee have needed 10 years ago? And I'm like, it would have been cool if I knew this and if I knew how to do this. That would have been a game changer. And so it's crazy. I'm like back to the future. Like I'm correcting like previous version of myself. It's so rewarding. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
You ever tell any of your students, you go, "Hey, look, David, you call me Ryan, but I'm you from the future, and I'm here to tell you this is what you need to do." He's
I
like,
I need to
shortcut it.
do that. It
Yeah.
feels like that. I'm like, I am your future self. I'm gonna start doing that. I just thought of Back to the Future just now, but I one thing I do is like do this and your future self will thank you. But
Yeah.
I kind of am their future self. Like, but I'm not even their future self because they're gonna be way better than me.
Yeah.
There's guys that are closing massive deals way bigger than I ever closed. They're gonna be way more successful than me. They're hitting numbers faster, they're hiring people faster. I
Mhm.
was stubborn, I didn't know how to hire people, I didn't know I could, I thought I couldn't afford it, and we work on the mindset, we work on all these things and the steps, like, here's the first thing you're gonna do, and then this, and they're doing it extremely fast. I had one guy, this was nuts. This was crazy. He gets on the phone to join my program. We have the call. I tell him how much it is. He goes, "You know what? I want to join. Never go to 2020." Yeah. Well, luckily, yeah, we're never going to remember that. And we're always going to remember that. But this guy told me he couldn't afford to join my coaching program. And I said, "Oh man, like are you sure? Like why why did you reach out? Like I thought that's why you needed the program is because you couldn't afford it?"
Yeah.
I said, "It's not that you can't afford it, you can't afford not to do it." I said, "Give me what your plan is. If you have a better plan, then I'll let you off the hook." He's like, "Man, I don't." So I didn't realize this, but at the time he had just gotten a credit card in the mail and he put the entire amount on a credit card,
Yeah.
which I would not necessarily advise to do that had I known all this stuff, but I didn't know. And he does it. and he starts having extremely fast results. Like I knew I was good, but I didn't know I was this good, right? So he's like, gets his first van, gets it wrapped, gets a second van, gets it wrapped, gets an office with a warehouse, hires someone to answer the phones, hires a salesperson, buys
Yeah.
himself a new car, all within 12 months.
Damn.
And I'm like, dude, like, did you join another lighting coaching program? Like, like, are we teaching you that? Like, I'm a little self-doubt, And he's like, no, I mean, he's like, I said, what is it about you versus some of the other clients in the program that aren't having as much success as fast? He said, honestly, there was something you said that changed my life when we first met. I go, what was that? And he told me the story. He goes, I told you I couldn't afford it. And you said, it's not that you can't afford it. You can't afford not to do it. And he
Mhm.
goes, Ryan, I was at the bottom. I'm living in a situation where one neighbor, he had a young daughter. One neighbor was a drug house. One neighbor was like a whorehouse, for no other better terms. And
Yeah.
he's like, I
Wow.
had no choice but for this program to work.
Yeah.
It had to work. So I just implemented everything you said step by step. He goes, I think some of your other clients, if it doesn't work out, they might be upset or whatever, but it doesn't really have to work. For me, it
Yeah.
was my only choice, so I made it work, and so powerful. And he's gone on to do awesome. He still has ups and downs. I want to create this wrong picture that life is perfect when you meet me. Like there's always challenges, but man, he just absolutely crushed it out of the gate.
Right on. That's cool. Hey, let me check in with if people are jumping on live. Thanks for being here. We're going to give away a ticket to the huge convention at about 15 minutes. So, in order to be eligible, this is what you need to know. Just take this live stream and share it into a group or two, and then post in the comments. Say, "Hey, I shared it." Jason, I'm glad you're on here. Antonio, good to see you, man. Here's Jason. But looping back to our conversation there, Ryan. He said, implement like your life depends on it. And because it does. Like, I mean, it does. But anyway, flipping back to we're going to give away a ticket in about 15 minutes. Just share this into another group so we get more people on here and report back in the comments, say, hey, I shared it. And I'm going to ask a trivia question. And it's a trivia question probably you do not know off the top of your head. So be ready to look it up online. It'll be a quick Google search, and the first person that answers it correctly will win a ticket. Currently, I think we're $249 for a ticket to the huge. So it's a pretty darn good thing. And Jason, thank you again for being on point.
Yeah, I think Jason's gonna win if he's fast at Google searching. I think he's on track right now.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so in it, you touched on a couple of things that would fall into this category, but what do you probably seen plenty of people that are failing at small business, and it's the kind of thing that's causing their failure is a really simple fix. So what are some of the biggest reasons that a small business fails, and what are some of the simple ways to fix that?
What's up, Antonio? Antonio just shared it 12 times, so
Hell
he's
yeah.
really
I'm gonna
competing
I'm
with
gonna put that
Jason
in
here.
big block letters. Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Man, that is such a good question, and I almost feel like you're just like lobbing softballs or something right now because a at the huge, I'm gonna be talking about this. And the first thing I fix that I'm not gonna say everybody, but everybody has a problem with is their pricing.
Yeah.
It's their pricing. And when I cleaned windows, Sid, for $3 a window in and out.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Like,
Yeah,
not per pane, like, per
yeah,
window.
yeah. So
So
I feel that we finally got our shit together with pricing, and we had it's not a very big building. It's a 3-story retirement center that called a couple of months ago, and I have a full-time sales guy, and I was like, "Yeah, here they need a bid, go do it." And he went out and bid it, and I didn't tell him. I said, "We used to do that building 9 years ago, and I bid it, and I did it by hand myself, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago." And when it came back in, we got the job right away, and I said, "How much you bid it for?" And he said, 3,200. I said, "I used to do this by hand for $300,
oh my god.
$300 with a 32-foot ladder." And I was like, 10 times. Okay. So, anyway, pricing strategy. Let's talk about pricing. Why do we need to raise our prices?
Here's why I start with pricing. Pricing doesn't require you to be smarter than you are, better looking. You don't have to buy more equipment. Hell, you don't even have to buy into a coaching program. You don't have to go to AMP. You don't have to go to the Huge. You literally only have to listen to this to hear that you need to correct your pricing, right? It's so easy to fix, right? It doesn't cost any money. So let's just say that I help, let's say someone is in the landscape lighting industry or they're thinking about getting into it and they were going to charge like 250 a light, $250 a light. That's kind of like a, people are like, damn, that's a lot. No, that's like low.
That's low.
That's not pricing enough. Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of people, like when I'll talk to them, they're like, yeah, I'm struggling, you know, and I said, well, how much are you charging? 250 a light. Why are you charging that? I don't know. My comp, you know, I'm already the highest one in my area. I hear that all the time, whatever. Well, here's the thing. If I can help someone raise their price by $50 a light, which may sound like a lot, but it's really not. So if I can help you raise your price by $50 a light, and you're just a small, like a really small lighting company doing 1,000 lights a year, which means you're like a $250,000 lighting company.
Yeah.
If I can help you raise your price by $50 across 1,000 lights, that's an extra $50,000.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like that's free money. That you, like, why do you hate money? Like the
Yeah.
only reason you wouldn't raise your price is if you hated money.
And that's bottom line money. That's not like
Yes.
additional sales revenue that has a cogs with it. That's just extra bottom line.
Yes. It's
Shit.
so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. So
And here's
we
what's
had,
crazy, Sid. That's where we start. And if people are skeptical, I'm like, fine, do $10 a light. Like, I don't care. Like, just convince yourself that you are worth more than this. And I'll get people up to $400 a light. So we'll actually get people to raise by $150 a light.
yeah.
And then they do more than 1,000 lights. They do 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 lights. So the money gets crazy quick, right? Um, the reason you have to price like this is because if you don't, you're doing it a service to your client. I hear people complain all the time, man, it's crazy. This lady wanted me to come back and do this, and they wanted this, and they wanted this. I'm like, why not just do it for them? Why not just include that? Why not just give them what they want?
Yeah.
Well, I can't afford to. Exactly. You just said it out loud, right? So you have to be able to afford. If you want to deliver the red carpet white glove experience, if you want to be different, then you have to charge more. And
Yeah.
everyone will say, well, my competition, I can't in my market or whatever. Well, instead of being a red flag that you're the high one, let's make it a red flag that they're the low ones. You know,
Yeah.
so let's work on our sales process to show the client that, like, man, you're making a poor decision. If you expect to spend that price and get our level of service, then that's on you, not the company for offering that. Like, you should do a better job doing your research and know that if you want a high quality product and service, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So at the Amp Mastermind, and I think the last time you were there, um, you shared something. You know, we usually have the $10,000 ideas, and you just shared a pricing strategy from stage. And it was not necessarily a pricing strategy, but it was a price delivery strategy to condition people to the price you want. And it was brilliant in its simplicity. Do you recall what it was? You may have prompt you on that because it's
I
been
do.
like 6 months ago.
No, I actually do, because I'm still pissed that I didn't win. That's why I remember.
It was so close.
It was like, yeah, everyone votes on who the best idea was, and I haven't won yet. So I'm like, man, I thought my ideas were good, but that's the thing. There's so many levels of genius in that room that even a good idea is like 10th best.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You know, we had so many great $10,000 ideas, and it takes up a lot of time to go through them. So we have people now, they submit it, and this is a change since last time he was there. Um, they submit them, and then we just narrow it down to 3 or 4, and that's all we have the opportunity to present because
Oh, really?
there's a
Okay.
lot going on. So we really try to scrape the cream off. But even that, I'm the one that curates that, and I'm like, oh shit, we have to leave this out. This is like a $50,000 idea, but it's
I
trumped by
know.
the $300,000 ideas that just crush. But um, back to the pricing strategy, you price condition people in a beautiful way to pick a higher price that was not your highest price, but you steered them, and it was, yeah, I would tell you, it was elegant in simplicity.
Yeah, it's such a cool strategy. I don't know that I invented it. I see other businesses doing it. They may not even know what they're doing or why they're doing it. And I've got kind of a couple different levels in there, but there's a couple things going on. So especially when you're selling high ticket, and
Mhm.
high ticket is kind of a relative term. I mean, some people think $300 is a high ticket or whatever. I'm talking landscape lighting where an average landscape, I don't even have hard numbers on this, but I think an average landscape lighting install in the US is $5,000.
Okay.
My average was 7,500. I've got clients their average is like literally over $100,000, but
Woo.
most are like I think $5,000. So to me, that's high ticket. I mean, they're it's not just like a few $100 decision that the housewife can make without consulting the husband. Like we're getting into some serious numbers.
Yeah.
But when you're selling high ticket, the one common denominator that almost always happens, doesn't matter what you're selling, is sticker shock, right? And when I learned sales, they told me, because remember, I was making 100 grand selling software. They told me to avoid sticker shock, you need to build value. So we would spend all this time building value and then lay on the price. And then here's how to overcome objections. Well, I mean, it worked. I was successful at sales, I guess, but I I thought there could be a better way. So when I started selling landscape lighting, I'd had some success and missed some other deals and stuff like that. But I got sick and tired of this sticker shock thing. I mean, I just
Yeah.
got fed up of people saying, wow, it was higher than we thought. I'm like, got to be a better way. So instead of doing it like I was taught in the traditional sales process, I decided to start leading with the price because I figured it's like ripping the band-aid off. Like we have to do this. We have to tell them the price. There's no other way to get their money if we don't tell them how much it costs, right? So
Yeah.
I decided, hey, let's just start with the price. I'll tell them how much it's going to be, and that way now I have an hour to overcome that and build value instead of waiting till the end and then they kick me out. So it's really, I call it the price marinade, and it's just marinating and let it soak in and let it just kind of tenderize that meat, and let them get used to that so that when you get to the end and you tell them how much it is, they're expecting it. It's not sticker shock, it's sticker relief.
Yeah. Yeah. Give an example of that. Just like pretend you're selling a job, and this is how you'd position it.
Okay, so well, this starts like well beyond when you get there. It starts with the pre-qualification call.
Yeah.
But let's say I already pre-qualified, and I'm going to talk about this some of this stuff at the huge, even the pre-qualification and everything. But let's say I show up to the house and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, all right, this is a $10,000 job. Okay, that's what's in my head. Most people can doesn't if even if you're selling window cleaning, yeah, you got to count the windows, or you're selling pressure washing, you got to do some measurements, but you usually know like what the ballpark is, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 10,000. I got to get that out as soon as possible. There's another element that I haven't talked about yet, and it's actually giving them a price way higher than what you think it is. Okay. And the reason we're doing that again is sticker shock, sticker relief. Which one would you rather your customer feel, right? It's pretty
Yeah.
easy. So if I think it's 10 grand, I'm going to tell them it's 20. Right. And a lot of people get really scared when I tell them to do this. They're like, I haven't built any value and you want me to try to scare them off? Like, this is asinine. Well, it is a little bit, but it's different. And this is what's going to help you stand out. So I'll tell them, hey guys, just so you know, I know on the phone we told you an average job is between $8,000 and $10,000. But I think you guys know this is not an average property. You guys have done this is a cool house, got nice landscaping, looks really good. Just to give you a heads up before we get started, this is more like a $20,000 job. Okay. And at that point, what's going to happen? Like if I was at your house and told you that, what would your reaction be?
I'd probably say like, "Whoa, really? Really?"
Yeah,
And
really?
you go,
Yeah. You'd have a reaction that's not awesome. Like,
"Yeah."
oh, cool. How do I sign up? And so you would be like, really? And like, oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be that high, but that's probably what it's going to be. And then I would say, Sid, well, how much were you expecting it to be?
I'm like, "I don't know." Like we talked on the phone, like 8 to 10,000.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. And honestly, I'm sure we can put together a plan that will fit within that range. So I don't want you to get like paranoid. So before you pass out, let's start walking around the property. We're going to take some notes. And the nice thing is in the next like 30 minutes, I'll be able to put together a proposal that'll give you several different options so you can see which one works best for you. Does that sound okay?
Mm, okay, good. See, I even though we're pretending, I felt relief.
Yes.
I was like, that will you give me some options that I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay, cool." So now my option's not yes or no.
Yeah. So I gave you some temporary relief. So now we can focus on at least the appointment, and let's find out what you want, Sid. So do you want to light the house? Do you want to light the trees? Is it front, back? And you have to steer the conversation at this point. Otherwise, they are going to kind of hyperventilate, possibly call the police, go get their guns. Something bad could happen. Right. So
Yeah.
you got to relieve the pressure for a second.
Right.
Now, then here's where it gets fun. So now I've basically, you've seen the movie Inception, right?
Yeah.
So Inception is like putting thoughts and things into your brain. So I've now inceptioned you, and I've told you that landscape lighting costs $20,000.
Yeah.
And you're thinking this guy's nuts. Yeah, there's no way I'm paying him 20,000,
Right.
So when I go and put together the quote, I put together 3 options, and I've learned this the hard way. I used to just do 1 option, then 2 options, but 3 options is the magic number.
Mm-hmm.
And when you give them the 3 options, guess what the top price is?
It's your 20 grand.
It's 20 grand. So you're not lying. Like, it really could be 20 grand.
Yeah.
Now, the middle one is really the one that you're trying to, the whole point of this next phase is price framing. So
Yeah.
it's like, if I just show up and I'm like, hey, Sid, landscape lighting costs $10,000. You're probably going to have the same reaction that if I told you it was 20,000. It's like, man,
Yeah.
that seemed high, So there's no comparison. There's no relativity there's nothing to compare it to. But if I told you 20,000 and then I showed you a $10,000 option, I mean, already we're getting
Ooh.
somewhere.
Yeah. You got my attention. Right.
Yeah. So now we're like, okay, most humans are born with, like, I think before we're born, God, the last thing he does is puts in our brain, you must get 3 quotes when you hire someone at your house. Like, it's like he's programming, like, oh, did you do the 3 quote thing? Like, okay, send them off.
Yeah.
Because we're all programmed like that. So we get programmed, and then we're born little babies. Then we grow up and become adults, and we're like, oh yeah, we got to do the 3 quote thing.
Got to get 3.
So 20,000, 10,000, and then 9,000. Okay. Now, what this does is, if I present that to you, I'm like, Sid, of these 3 options, which one do you think works best for you?
Yeah. And this is so beautiful. And I'm like, I don't know, that Ryan, like, this 10,000 one looks really good. I mean, that's probably looks like my number.
Yeah.
Right.
And it feels good because it's not 20.
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, there's idiots that pay 20. I'm only spending 10. Right. But if I would have started with 10, you would have been like, 10. There's idiots that spend 10. Right now, it's like, man, I'm like 50% of what these other idiots are doing,
Yeah.
And you know what? If I'm going to spend 9 grand, why not spend an extra grand to get the better warranty?
Get the thing.
Ryan seemed more excited about it. It seemed better.
Yeah.
If I'm going to spend 9, I'll do 10, but I'm not an idiot. I'm not spending 20. Let's go ahead and do the 10. And I've had literally people tell me that. They're like, 20 is crazy. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. Let's just do the 10.
Yeah.
We're only going to spend 10. I'm like, you're only going to spend $10,000 right now. I just met you 40 minutes ago.
Yeah. Right. Right. Hey, let's real quick. We got to say hi, Jared. Good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in.
Jared, JC.
Yeah, JC's in the house. Benjamin's in the house. How's it going, man? Good to see you.
What's up, Benjamin?
Cool. Thanks, guys, for joining us. So here's the thing that I think a lot of us business owners, especially if you've been in sales, you probably feel like you're immune to the normal psychology. I know Angela's in the house. I know how sales psychology works, and so I feel immune to it because I know. But it doesn't matter. It still works. We had a couple of years ago. I drive a Subaru Forester. Engine went out. It had some recall on it. I didn't know about it. I have to replace the engine. I call my guy that does all of our auto work, and he's like, "Oh, dude, that sucks. Yeah, that's gonna be that's like $5,500 for a new engine." I was like, "Oh shit, you got to be kidding me!" And he goes, "Oh, you're still under warranty. They're gonna and he's like, oh, yours has a rebuilt title, no warranty. You're gonna have to pay." I was like, "Damn it!" And then I'm stuck with that sunk cost fallacy. I was like, I've got a $20,000 ride. Do I try to get rid of a car that doesn't have a motor and then get something new? Blah, 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 blah. And then he calls me the next day. He said, "Hey, I checked with some of our sources. I found a used engine with 50,000 miles, done and dusted, out the door, $3,400. And I was like, do it. Hell yeah. Now,
Bargain.
I did not want to spend $3,400 repairing my perfectly perfect car.
Yeah.
But
when you had an option of 5,500 or 34, is like, dude, I'll give you the money right now.
I
Let's
know, I
do
wanted
this.
to hug the guy instead of
Yeah.
punch him. If he had started at 37 or 32 or whatever it was, and then, I would be like, no, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. Anyway, so exactly
Perfect.
works. It works.
It works so good. And I think sometimes I used to be afraid to sell to salespeople. Like if I'm like, so what do you do for a living? I'm the VP of sales or whatever. I'm like, oh, he's going to know. He's going to know that I'm doing the thing. They love a good salesperson. They
Yeah.
are so easy. They're so easy to sell to. And like, I'm easy to sell to. People knock on my door. It's like summer sales right now.
Yeah.
I'll buy anything if they're good. I'm like, I don't need it. I still want it. You're so good. I just want to buy from you.
Yeah. Here's the other thing with the price sandwich with the small, medium, and large option. You scratch the itch of, you got to get 3 quotes. It's already scratched. But then sometimes you have people like we do basic, deluxe, and premium for our window cleaning stuff. They get the price online, and probably 20% of the people just pick premium. Like it's 10% more service and 50 to 100% more price. So I mean, I'm certainly you've seen it where people go, you know what? I'll do that. I'm doing the top one.
It blows your mind actually, because again, your goal, at least the way I teach it, is your goal is just the middle one.
Yeah.
And then, but there are enough people out there that you're like, wow, I didn't notice the Ferrari in the garage. Like that's who they are. They're going to always buy the top one. So if you only offer them the $10,000 option, people are losing sales right now because they're not charging enough.
Yeah.
And that seems weird to like, they're like, that's not true, man, because I just lost a deal on it. They said it was price, whatever. Like, I promise you, you're losing sales because you're not charging enough. So if you're struggling, just make up an offer today, double the price, and see what happens. Worst case, people just don't choose that one. But like Sid said, there's 10 to 20% of the people that are just going to take it because they're early adopters. They always buy the best. They want to be influencers. They want to brag to their friends how they spent more on window cleaning than anyone else in the history of the neighborhood or whatever. Like they really, that's how they are. It's crazy.
It's so true. I think that's funny, but I've probably done it too. You got to get the biggest, best one. Here's something else. This is it's part of the whole sales psychology. Perry Marshall wrote the book, the 80/20 Sales and Marketing. And he talks about, they call it the espresso machine principle. And if you go to Starbucks, I mean, Starbucks, a cup of drip coffee is what, $3 or something. I don't know what it is. Let's say $3, but you get a latte with oat milk and a shot of this, and it's $6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you order, like, doctor it up, like, you could probably spend $15 on a drink, but you can also spend a lot more money in a Starbucks because they've got that little kiosk in the middle that's got bags of coffee. It's got mugs. It's got French presses. So the mug is 20, a French press is 50. And they've got other doodads that you can spend $100 on. And most Starbucks, it depends on the market, but most will have an espresso machine on that middle thing. Then you can spend $2,000 on. And not many people buy one, but somebody does.
Right.
And it's for them. It's like, it's 2 square feet of space on a shelf. And every time somebody buys one, they make, $1,000 extra profit. It's just, most people are not going to buy the most expensive thing in the house, but you need to have, if you've got 100 people that'll spend, $1,000 for a thing, that means of those 100, 4 of them would spend $10,000 if you offered it.
100%.
Yeah.
And most of us are afraid to do it because we wouldn't spend it, right?
Exactly.
I had a new sales guy. He got this awesome opportunity and he was intimidated because it was a big job. So I went up there with him and we're putting together to the design and everything. And there was these little columns that normally just a rookie would be like, just put one light on the front of the column, like if you're standing at the street. But I'm looking at like, dude, this would be badass if we lit all 4 sides of the column. And these columns are short. Like we're talking $400 or $500 a light. So per column, $2,000, right?
Yeah.
And that's intimidating for someone who doesn't know what they're doing. And I'm thinking, and he's like, man, I don't want to lose the sale. I want the commission. I'm like, I want you to have the commission too, because I also get a commission as an owner.
Yeah.
And so I said, let's do this. We're going to give them the option. We got our 3 option thing, but we're also going to do like an addendum. Like, hey, if you want if you want your house done premium, we can do that. But if you want to be like baller status, I mean, this is only reserved for people who can afford it. And that's how we word it, like only for people who can afford it. He took it
That's so
so
good.
easy. The guy, he was like, I can't believe how easy he paid for that. I'm like, I want you to remember this because there's future clients that are just like this. And when you kind of threaten them like that, for one, they're going to prove you wrong every single time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that. That's just such psychological. That's like a judo throw in linguistic positioning. It's so beautiful. Hey, we got some more people joining us live. If you're just joining us, we got Ryan Lee with Landscape Lighting Secrets on, and you've got to watch the recording if you just came on, because he just gave us a sales positioning strategy that is just freaking money in the bank. I love this. Um, Also, in about 5 minutes, we're going to give away a free ticket to the huge convention. So if you want to be in the running to get your ticket, a free one, go ahead and share this live stream to a group or two, and then just comment, "Hey, I shared it." And then you're in the running. We're going to ask a trivia question. It's really dumb, and anybody can find the answer. And when you find out the answer, you go, "Holy shit, are you serious?" And then you win a ticket. So
And
we're
I'm
going to park
excited to
that
find
to
out the question.
share, comment, win, and go, holy shit, that's amazing. And you're gonna love it. So that the price, or not, the psychological positioning of a statement like, hey, this is only, you're not being a dick by saying this is only reserved for people that can afford it. That's just ninja. That's like, we used to, well, we still have this job. We used to charge not enough for it, and that's why we all hated it. Now we charge enough for it. Thank you, Kyle, by the way. Um, it's a very physical job. We do it with water-fed pole. Takes a couple of guys like 2 8-hour days. And I had these young guys that work, and I said, "Hey, look, guys, we get this job coming up. Most guys they just can't handle it. They're just not strong enough. They're not physically fit,
That's so good.
and they can't do it. But if you want a chance at it, I'll let you do it. And it needs to be done this week, and I'll pay you a few hundred extra dollars." And both of them, what? What? Most people can't handle it. You think I can't handle that? Give me that
Do you know
pole.
who I am?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, that's perfect.
Well, and it's like you said, like we complain as business owners about clients because we don't like the job, or gosh, we have to go do this. Why not just charge what you need to make to be happy to do it? Like
Yes.
stupid money, and you'll be surprised. Maybe not everybody's going to do it, but who cares? You can afford, if I can convince you today, doesn't matter what service we're talking about, honestly, if I can convince you to raise your price by 10%, just 10%, which is stupid easy,
Yeah.
you can afford to lose up to 20% of your clients and still make the exact same bottom line. You'll make the exact same amount of money. So
Yeah.
let's do this. 20% is 1 out of 5, right? There's
Yep.
5 days in a week. So now you don't have to work Fridays. You don't have to work Fridays. You make the same amount of money. You guys owe me your life now. If you want to go fishing, you owe me a trip on your bass boat. You owe me something because I just saved you a whole day.
It's so true. What annoys me is that when the math is just right, because when it goes against what your intuition is, because you go like, well, if I say you raise your price, I lose 20% of my customers, gasp, I'm dead. You're like, no, no, no. You make the same amount of money. And I built a spreadsheet a couple years ago to dick with this math. And I figured out if we raised our prices 60%, we would cut our customer base in half, and we would double our profits. Now, I have to say, bold admission, I didn't have the guts to do it. Like, I couldn't go 60% because I'm so attached to my customers. But we
Yeah.
raised them 30%, and much to my surprise, we only lost like 4% of our customers, and our profit
That's
went up. But
That's the sad thing. I just teased everyone that they get Fridays off now, but that's the problem. You're not going to get Fridays off. You're going to increase your business.
yeah,
You'll lose 4%, but you're going to gain others. So you're screwed. You have to work the rest of your life.
I love this. Thanks, Jason. You got to be profitable. Being busy doesn't mean profitable.
Love that.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I've got a couple more questions for you, and I want to be respectful of your time, Ryan. So if you need to go, we can.
I'm good. I
Okay.
was going to hang out all night. I thought this was like a 24-hour
It
challenge.
is. This is the Price Strategist Marathon, and you
Yeah.
are live.
We're just gonna keep going. Like they're gonna bring in dinner, and we're gonna do like desserts and donuts and stuff to keep us up. Mountain Dew, yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Let's do this. Let's give away a ticket. So I've got this trivia question, but here's the deal. So Antonio, Jason, who else is on here? Kyle,
Kyle,
Benjamin, JC, whoever wants to win a ticket. And if you already have a ticket, because I know Jason got tickets at last year's event because he didn't want to miss another one. This is like awesome. But if you win a ticket, what we'll do is I'm going to give you a code that will give you one comp ticket when you go register at thehugeconvention.com. And you can give that to someone on your team or someone who you know needs to come. You can give it away if you've already got your ticket. So you can do that. You can be generous, or if you need a ticket, you can win it now. So here's the deal. For the first person that answers this correctly and types it into the chat box or into the comments, you get a free ticket to the huge convention. And it goes like this. Probably the person with fast fingers is going to win. Now it's got to be however it shows up on my feed. I'm not looking at Facebook, so I don't know how it's going to appear on Facebook, but the first one shows up accurate on my feed wins the ticket. And here's the question. You're right. And this is how many guest rooms are at the Opryland Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where we're hosting this year's huge convention. It's a big property. I'll give you, like, to hint you in the right directions. It's in the top 30 largest single resorts in the world.
No, I'm no Google. I'm just guessing. I know I'm not allowed, but 4,000.
Guess. Okay. So you're like, it definitely has that comma in there. 4,000 is a little bit high, but
Don't you hate it when that happens? Someone guesses high. You're like, no, you were supposed to guess low.
Are you room conditioning us on how many rooms are at this place?
Yeah.
Like 4,000, no way. And then somebody's going to pop in and say something like this, 2,888. And I would say, Jason, that is correct. 2,888 guest rooms
That's
in
crazy.
the hotel. That's awesome.
I was going to say 3,000, and then you were like, this number will blow your mind. So I was like, what does a
30.
top hotel have? I have no idea. And I don't even know where I got 3,000.
Yeah. Kyle,
been
you're
there.
right in there, right? I mean, you got the right answer and stuff. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot, Jason, and then Kyle. I think Jason just answered the question and said, I accept, but I'm giving this one away also. Jason, do you have someone that you're going to give it to, or would you like Kyle? Do you need a ticket and you don't have one? And Jason, you'd like to give it to Kyle? And
Maybe we should just give it to Kyle too. He was driving. I don't know. Can I give him? Do I have a ticket? I want to give Kyle a ticket.
Kyle's like, I ran over some of those little orange things on the side of the highway. I was trying to look it up. I'm like,
yeah,
we're good. We're good. I'll tell you what. Let's do. Jason, I already have your direct contact, and I'm going to send you a code. Kyle, will you send a private message to the huge convention page and just say, I want a ticket with Sid and Ryan, and I'll hook you up with the code as well. Okay. And we will make sure that hopefully you get home safely with your driving. So don't text and drive.
What are you doing watching a podcast or whatever? Like, we should take his ticket away. That's irresponsible.
That's right. And unless you have an in dashboard screen, and you're not really watching it, it's just playing. Right?
Yeah, he's driving a self-driving Tesla. Then, I mean, show us your situation, and then we'll deem if he's worthy of getting the ticket.
That's right. Well, let's. I'm going to flip back around. I've got one more question for you, but before we do that, I do want to talk about the huge convention a little bit because it's huge, and this, like, I get excited about it because of my own experience, but I also get more excited about it because I hear so many people talk about what going to the huge convention has done for them. Like Jason shared the story about how first time he went, like, he's a full-time firefighter and EMT, and he was doing a side hustle, started a power washing company, and maybe they're like $30,000 for the year. That's a good additional income for a family. But he learned stuff at the huge convention that allowed them to scale that quite a bit bigger. And he'll be the first one to say, I'll never miss the huge. Like, I met guys that when they started going to the huge, they were doing 300,000. Now they're doing 3 million. That's not a promise for anybody that goes, but it's like the level of teaching and education is so good and so high. It's not just I'm going to look back to this because it is my question for you. So park that. There's a lot high level education. There's a lot of education going on because we've got the keynotes and we've got the breakout sessions. But the networking is where I have like got the biggest results from the networking. The first time I went to the Huge 6 years ago, I was sitting next to a guy in the general session. We're jawing. His name is Brian Hegarty. You probably know Brian.
If I do.
I said, and I was like, his business is the size I want my business to be. Like he's already done it. And I was like, let me take you to lunch. Cool. We go to lunch. We're doing stuff. I ask him a few questions. He gives me one tiny suggestion that I implemented in 2 years. It put an additional $50,000 in the bank account. I was like, holy smokes. And it was just a chance meeting of somebody that I was like, okay, well, there's a lot of those chance meetings and great networking experiences there. That plus, if you're a gearhead or like a tool nut like I am, I like to feel the feels and smell, like get my hands on the latest tools and tech. We do have the largest trade show for window cleaning and power washing in the world at the Huge convention. And there's a lot more going on besides window cleaning and power washing. We've expanded. Now we have landscape lighting is a big vertical that we're a player in. Holiday lighting, the floor coatings, like the garage floor coatings, epoxy and polyaspartics. We've got people coming in from house cleaning industry, landscaping, painting. So we're building a big experience for people in the home service industry at the Huge convention. So anyway, sorry, I get excited and a little long-winded. I will tell you that the convention, I'm gonna work backwards. Friday is the closing day. We're giving away the grand freaking prize giveaway that I still almost can't believe it. I believe it because it's been released and the details. We're giving the collective, one of our big vendors. It's a group of 10 other vendors that just pooled their resources. They're giving away $150,000 prize package that's marketing, website, like all the support services you need for your business. And
I heard that recently. That's unbelievable. That's freaking awesome.
When they brought it to us and said, "Hey, we want to do this," I thought it was a typo. I thought surely they're saying 15,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's big.
Don't double check with them just in case.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, keep it.
And then we go, we'll typo again, add a comma. It's like $150 million. Okay. So that is going to be given away from the main stage, right by our final keynote speaker before everybody, takes off and goes running around. So like when everybody's in the room, got to be present to win. We're giving away a whole lot of stuff in addition to this, but in order to be eligible for that, you have to buy your ticket for 2024 to be in the pool to win the $150,000 prize. All the other stuff, thousands and thousands of dollars stuff, you're at the show, you're eligible to win. So that one's really cool. So I'm working backwards. Our keynote speaker for Friday is this. I haven't met him, so his name it's Kyle Scheel. He's the guy that wrote the song. Son, I wish you would live like you're dying. Who recorded that song?
Don't ask me music questions, trivia. Okay. I will lose every single time.
It's Janet so funny. Jackson. I can't remember
I don't.
The artist name. He married
Garth Brooks.
Faith Hill.
Garth Brooks.
Yep.
Garth Brooks Jr.
Okay, guys, who's married to Faith Hill and recorded the song "Live Like You're Dying"? And it's why it's ironic.
Toby Keith.
I think my brother's a musician and he tours with him, and I still can't think of that guy's name. They'll come to me in a minute.
I named. I mean, I don't know. Adele, Pitbull. Like I'm naming all the people I know in Beyonce.
Beyonce, Metallica. We get
AC/DC.
Tim McGraw.
That's who I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So he wrote the song for Tim McGraw, or he wrote the song.
Greg got it. Of course. I didn't know Greg was on. Greg.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's the music guy. This guy. This is who you should have talked to because he's the guy doing the big jobs.
Awesome.
Landscape lighting legend right there.
Nice. Is he sell flamethrowers too? I see his like profile picture.
He has a couple of them.
Okay, it's pretty.
In fact, he was on my podcast not too long ago, and he's got some experience with the flamethrower. But it was the first time that I had seen him do the flamethrower in his office, which is the same size as the office I'm in now, and I would not ignite the flamethrower in my office.
You
It
gotta
was
live a
all for the
little.
live, live just entertainment factor. So he's an all in kind of guy.
Okay, I was gonna say Greg knows how to live like he was dying, or like you're about to
Totally,
set the house on fire. Um,
totally.
so working backwards, Thursday night we've got a live band coming to the Opryland to bring the Nashville Broadway music extravaganza experience to the huge convention. So you don't have to go out, like it's going to be right in the main ballroom. We're going to have, cash bars in the corner, and it's going to be pretty epic. And that we're giving away. I don't know who's providing this, but they're giving away a brand new side by side, like a 4x4, a little covered one.
That's
Like
awesome.
this is like 15 grand. I don't know what kind it is, so I can't really
Yeah.
quote a price, but
Yep.
they're not cheap. I
Nope.
don't know if it's a mule or a razor or what, but that's being given away when we do the live music. The Thursday during the day, of course, we have our keynote speaker Michael Burnoff. Will change the way your brain works. He is so adept. Like, did you see him last year, Ryan, or have you heard Michael Burnoff or of him?
Was he at the Huge last year?
He was. He did like
I wonder
the
if I
main
did.
stage breakout session on day 2, and there were probably just a couple hundred people there. That
I might have missed him then because I was there, but I might have been at my booth or something.
okay, yeah, because we
Maybe
there
that's why.
was there was a little bit of I mean the trade show opened, and everybody went to breakouts, and that was
Okay.
the featured breakout, and so a lot of people went to lunch and missed it. He's an NLP practitioner and a guy that's done sales for decades, and he showed people just those phrases like you used earlier, like how to position, how to handle the price objection in a way that completely diffuses it. Like you said, hey, this is only reserved for people that can afford it, and that like psychologically challenges somebody to prove that they like I can afford that. Who
Yeah.
you looking at? Who you talking to? Um, he gave us the price objection overcoming phrase last year. Somebody says, "Oh, that's expensive," and he goes, "Actually, that's the going rate. Like that's not expensive; it's just unexpected.
Yeah.
That's the going rate." And people are like, "Oh," and they kind of, it's not when
Then
you
it's
don't
like,
say it to
well,
make
now
them
what am
feel.
I supposed to say? Yeah.
I know you don't do it to make them feel dumb, but you go,
Yeah.
"No, you think a movie ticket's still $4? It's $24 now. That's just the going rate. It's not expensive. It's just what it is." Anyway, working backwards in time, and I'm gonna finish, and I got to ask you this question, okay? Because I'm building all the way backwards. I'm doing Inception in
Are you
reverse.
doing Inception and Back to the Future on me? Because I thought I was supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, I'm doing
This is
Inception, Back to the Future, and the movie Memento all combined into one.
Tim McGraw. Okay.
Okay,
Keep going. Keep going.
Wednesday is the day before classes, and we've got and they're extra, but you're making the trip and the investment to go to Nashville to the huge. Go an extra day early and get your butt in one of these classes. If you're in power washing industry, we've got Spray Wash Academy is teaching plant and property protection and how to market to and close HOAs. Those are big ticket items for power washing. We've got John Tornabini teaching the parking garage cleaning class and how to get those jobs. And then also Michael Hinderleiter and somebody else with him. I can't think of the name. Maybe Nate Ferrier. They're doing Fleet Wash Academy. They're teaching fleet washing and how to get those jobs. The inimicable Howard Partridge is teaching phenomenal business. He's doing his all-day business boot camp. So like if you're like we started a conversation, Ryan, about growing from an operator to an owner. If you need to learn how to run a business, that class is $200. It's all day long. Howard Partridge is a phenomenal teacher, and he's done it. He's got a multi-million dollar carpet cleaning business in Houston, and he lives in Florida. He checks in with one phone call a week and one visit a month. Like he's done it in a big way, and he teaches it. And I can't believe how inexpensive it is. So, and
That's
there
crazy. It's only $200. Yeah, that he's got it together. That's for sure.
he does. And then this year, and we touched on it early on, the AMP Mastermind. So AMP Mastermind on Tuesday, the 22nd, we're we're having our regular Amplify Mastermind program day. And we've got a little bit more space than we normally have at the standard. So we've got room for like 15, maybe 20 visitors to come and check it out. People that have been looking for a place where they can really pour some rocket fuel on their business and have a group of peers that they can lean on and ask questions of. And with that, I'm going to put you on the spot slightly because you're part of the AMP Mastermind. Why is it like? What's the value in it for you?
AMP is like, it's honestly a no-brainer decision. I don't know why when we talk about pricing, why you guys don't charge more.
Yeah.
Because like I went the very first time, probably on a visitor day or something like that. I don't even remember. But Ryan Edrington was the one that introduced me to the Huge and to you guys and AMP and stuff like that. And I met, it wasn't just one conversation. It wasn't one person that just paid for it. I met like a ton of people and I was like, holy cow, like these are people like you struggle, at least like for me around here, like talking to people on my street, like I don't really want to hang out with them. They're boring. They don't have the same interest as me. These are all people that have like our same goals. Like we're not satisfied with where we're at in life. We want to get to the next level. We want to be better parents. We want to be better leaders. We want to be better friends, like all these types of things. So I don't know why your guys aren't charging more. Like, so I'm not trying to tell you to raise the price. Like, keep us, early adopters invested, keep the price good for us. But
Yeah.
it's such a no-brainer. So much value out of it. Just the $10,000 ideas, or those are awesome. But to me, it's not even necessarily what happens in the classroom, even though like I've had you on stage teach us very valuable things, Dalkey and Kaplan, but it's the other people. It's hanging out that night and getting to know them and them challenging you like, well, why aren't you doing this in your business? It's like, because I'm afraid.
Yeah. Right.
Or like I don't know how. And like you're willing to open up because you've spent the day like having conversations and doing breakouts and stuff like that. So to me, it's like that's been so good. I think I've been in it like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years. I don't know, like about a year and a half. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of powerhouses in that room. So I'm just grateful that I was introduced to the community for sure.
Right on. Well, cool. Well, we look forward to seeing you back there because I know you weren't able to go to the last one. So
I
we
actually
get
missed the official last 2 that I missed,
okay.
but the thing is there's still a Slack app, there's still engagement, like,
Yeah.
I communicate with people in there, like, I mean, JC's on here, like, Megan, like, I communicate with people even though I'm not at the official mastermind, and
Yeah.
it's I don't know. Yeah, I don't wanna promote it because then too many people are gonna join, and then I'm gonna be like, "Well, now I don't wanna be in it."
Well, now what? You'll be like, wait, now I've got twice as many awesome people to network with. I feel like, and I treat it like my own personal, like the other members of the AMP Mastermind are my unofficial advisory board.
For sure.
Advisory board, if I say that right. Yeah, because I've got people that I will like if I have a question or I need to know something, even if I feel like God, this is stupid, you really should know the answer. I can just ask, and within minutes, within an hour, somebody's got the answer to the question that I had. I'm like, oh God, this is awesome.
Well, and
Yeah,
I'm impressed with like, again, I was never exposed to anything like that when I was running my lighting business.
yeah,
So I look back and I'm like, man, what if I would have found this earlier? Because there are people in those rooms that have like amazing dialed in processes that just blow my mind. I'm like,
yeah,
how do they do this? And they're working on culture and they have like, a hiring map and like I'm like, wait, like I just thought people worked for me because they wanted the paycheck. Like they have all this stuff and they're willing to share it and they're willing to tell you how they did it and what not to do. And I mean, it's like free coaching,
yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
It really is. So here's what I want to ask you. So you started your coaching business, you started Landscape Lighting Secrets, and you've helped people grow landscape lighting. And then, but there are there's two-pronged question. There are a lot of people that you see online that maybe they read Dan Kennedy's stuff or Russell Brunson stuff and they've learned how to market, but they've never done the thing. They just wrote a great sales letter and they have a funnel.
Right.
So
Totally.
we don't, I don't want to be an a-hole and say fake gurus, but there are people that like they have some value to bring, but they've never actually been in the trenches doing the thing that they're going to teach you how to do. So you're a man who has done the thing. You've had the blood, sweat, and tears. You've had somebody quit the day you're going to install a big ass job and you can't do without them and all the things. So what's the real value in somebody that has been in the trenches versus somebody that just knows how to market really well as a coach?
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think I used to be skeptical of people like myself, like, who is this guy? What is he gonna help me with? What does he know? Is he just good at marketing? Is he good at sales and whatever? But honestly, like if you look at, and sometimes I get frustrated too because the growth of my company, I haven't, like I've done good, like we've got happy customers, all that, but like other people with have their like Russell Brunson coaching programs, they're like trillionaires by now because they really are just good at marketing
Yeah.
the course, selling courses. I'm not very good at selling courses and coaching. I'm really not. And I haven't really done much too. All my stuff is just inbound, like referral from within the community. So it
Mm.
has to me, it has to work. And to me, that's one of my strategies was like, you know what, I'm just going to give with value the first few years. One, because I want to make sure, like, to be honest, I didn't know if I could be a coach. Like I used to have, I had salespeople and they were good at sales. So I was like, oh man, you're awesome. I'm going to promote you to sales manager. And then it didn't work. And I'm like, but you're supposed to be a good sales manager, right? And so I was like, well, what if I'm good at business, but what if I'm not good at coaching business?
Ooh,
And
yeah.
I took my wife snowboarding when we were newlyweds. I found out I was a really good snowboarder and I was a really bad snowboard instructor. We were cussing at each other. Like we almost got divorced on the mountain, right?
Yeah.
And so I was paranoid and I still a little bit am like, can I get them results, this and that? So I hired a coach that helps put these programs together because I wanted to put my best foot forward and I knew I had the information. I've got the blood, sweat, and tears, but there is something to be said about those gurus who are good at marketing and sales and teaching and stuff like that. And so
Mhm.
I hired a coach that doesn't really help you with the marketing and sales of it, but really the structure of the program and how to be effective with your teaching style and all these different things. And that was monumental for me. It allowed me to get clients and help them out of the gate. And that first client led to 4 clients. Those 4 clients led to 10 to 40. And it's all because like they're having results talking to their other lighting friends or their other friends that are in the Christmas light industry that are trying to solve their labor problem and not have to hire temporary laborers or whatever. So it
Yeah.
all stems from that. So yeah, I mean, the difference is crazy. I mean, if I wasn't getting people results right now uh, because I haven't marketed this that much, I mean, I would have already been out of business.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Well, I tell you what, I appreciate the time together now, and I appreciate what like your willingness to share. So these are not even insider secrets, but like your ability to teach those little things like the price conditioning, the price marinade, um, and just like things that for you are simple to other people are remarkable. So thanks for taking time to share that. And
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna be dropping a bunch more nuggets during my breakout at the huge. So my goal is not to just to be high level, like, oh yeah, that's some good inspiration. Like I personally have taken this upon me, whether I'm speaking at the huge or somewhere else or any element in my program. I want if you come to my session, I want you to be like, dude, just that. I don't even know how long I have, 60 minutes, whatever. Just that one session paid for the next 5 years of huge. I'm coming back to huge for the 5, 10 years, like just because of what I learned from that thing. Like I really take it that serious. So
yeah,
it's not just high level. Like we're going to give you some things that you can walk away with, implement, and go make extra money. Pricing for huge profits. Like I'm going to break it down, make it simple. Uh, and it sometimes seems easy because honestly, it is. It can be. It takes a little
yeah,
bit of practice. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, but we'll talk through those things and we'll give you the step-by-step framework and you'll be you'll be doing it with ease.
yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm really stoked that you're going to be doing one of the breakouts. What if you prepped everything and you're like, I've got 60 minutes and I'm saving, I'm going to be so much value. People are going to freak out. They'll probably like forget their pants and leave them in the room. They're so excited, but you're saving the best thing for last, like the last thing. And then you find out you've only got 55 minutes and you can't say the best thing. What do you do? I'm just kidding. Like,
They'll stay. Everyone will. It basically, we already talked about Back to the Future. I'll figure
mhm.
out how to freeze time so
Yeah.
the other sessions won't start. These people, they're going to be so engaged. Like I have so much fun, and when I speak, I really talking about like my past self. Right, I put myself in their shoes. Like, do you want to just sit and be spoken to? Or do you want this to be engaging and entertaining? And do you want to be part of it? And do you want to feel the passion? So, like, again, I'm not there to entertain, but I'm not there just to educate. It's really all those things. So I've got a podcast, and my thing on my podcast is we help educate and motivate to help you dominate. And that's really what it is. It's kind of a combination of entertaining, educating, motivating, and allows you to go and dominate.
Hell yeah. Well, with that, we should probably wrap it up and call it good. But I do have to let you know you need to bring the flex capacitor.
I'm now going to be like a Back to the Future guy without even trying to be a Back to the Future guy. What's going on?
That's right. That's cool. Well, thanks again. And everybody that's still on, hey, thanks for joining us. Jason, Antonio, Greg, you guys, I really appreciate you spending your time with us. And congratulations to Kyle and Jason for winning the ticket. And we'll see you all at the huge convention in, dang, I didn't look at my calendar ahead of time. I think it's 50 days. It's like, it's coming fast. We'll be there.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Sid. Thanks, everyone, for being on here. Appreciate all you and look forward to seeing you in Nashville.
Right on.